guys, what is up YouTube? We are here today on a Sunday filming for you guys. Basically some content that I wanted to share. We came here yesterday and we demoed a piece of equipment, which I'll show you right now what that is before I talk too much about it. It is this SIMEX. It's called a CB 1200 is what it's called. As far as I know, this is the largest grinder that they make for skid steers. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe SIMEX is largest size. I'm not saying in the industry, just that this particular brand. So it's a SIMEX CB 1200, and what it is it's an asphalt or material grinder. The material could be interlock bricks, concrete, or asphalt material, and I guess other stuff as well. How it works basically is it's hydraulically ran. There's a motor inside of this end of the unit. It will turn and oscillate that drum round, and then you basically have crushers on the end, and they will kind of grind up the materials. What it does, the byproduct comes out is the crushed asphalt or concrete or interlock. Those are the byproducts of the material. So like I said, we did come out here yesterday and kind of did a test run of what the machine works, how it does, and kind of the functionality and efficiency of it. I will just say right now, I guess spoiler alert, I didn't find it that efficient. I don't really think it's that effective, and I will get into more reasons why that is. But essentially, in order to make a machine like this justified as a purchase for a business, I feel it has to be able, first of all, the cost of the machine, the cost to run the machine, and what it can produce. So for example, if you buy a soil screener, you're going to screen up your soil, you're going to have, make yards at a time, and you're going to sell that product. But if you're not able to make money off what's coming off your belt for soil, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of the same thing here, where the idea is essentially to take this material, so whether it's asphalt, this stuff here is some fresh asphalt. I purposely picked out this pile here. It is essentially ripped out material, so stuff that we would pull out of a driveway or a parking lot. That's what this is here. We haven't ran concrete through. I think that stuff is just too large to run through, so I don't want to try that. I don't think it's made for this grinder. And we did run also interlock bricks through. So what these are is just stones that we would have pulled out of an old walkway before. They're kind of just your typical 2.5, 2 3/4 inch thickness of interlock. And this is kind of what came out. So this is the interlock pile. Average size, I'd say, is probably 3 inches up to 5, sometimes 6. And the smallest kind of consistently 3/4 inch. There is stuff that's smaller, but kind of consistently. The interlock material that came through, it actually kind of seemed to be relatively clear. There wasn't much granular in the material, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. When we ran the asphalt through yesterday, the stuff we were scooping from, it had a lot of granulars and sands and rock into it, kind of just from when we pulled it out of the project it came from. So the pile is more sandier, but I think that's why. It's because we ran a lot of sand through the machine. So this is the byproduct of the asphalt that we ran through yesterday. You can see kind of the bigger chunks on the outside and the sandier stuff here kind of in the middle. So again, the byproduct of what's coming off or out of the machine is fine. These products are both usable. There's definitely applications in what we do. You can honestly mix two of them together. There's lots of things you can do with them. So the byproduct is fine. It's the speed and efficiency at which it takes to get to this byproduct is where I question. So we're gonna film this, gonna show you guys how it works. There's kind of a couple ways we can load this machine. It's supposed to work. I took this out, I picked this from the back of the pile, put it into a windrow, and how this machine here will work is this is essentially the same as your skid steer bucket. This is like a cutting edge on the bucket. This will fold down and you just kind of scoop in the pile, tilt up, and then run the hydraulics, and then out comes your byproduct. That's one way. You can use the rotor tilt to load with, so you just take the machine, scoop up, spin around, dump in, so we can use that to dump into there as well. And you can also just take it by hand. In this case, with the interlocks, we can just grab them by hand, throw them in, and just kind of run it through. If the interlocks are on the ground into a pile, obviously you can scoop them up, but there's a few different ways we can do it. So it does have a kind of a cool use. You don't technically need two machines or to load. It can load itself, which is one kind of function that is unique. But anyways, let's dive into it and see how it works. We'll share with you guys what we think, and then I'd like to hear your feedback as to, if you think it's efficient, what's a better option, and just overall thoughts. So in the comments below, please feel free to blow it up. We really want to hear your feedback, because it's not just because I feel this product isn't the right one for us, it doesn't mean that the right product for us isn't out there somewhere. So if you guys know what it is, by all means, let us know. So anyways, let's stop talking, let's jump into it. Let's start burning some diesel and crushing some material and see what happens. All right, so Caden's been running that now for a couple minutes, and as you can see, what happens in that footage there is the first bit of material that's kind of sandier will fall right through the bottom off the bat. So at first you think, oh, this is actually working pretty good, and then what seems to happen is as that cylinder spins around with the claws on it, the little hooks on it that it has to crush the material up, I think the problem is that it just sits there and spins and it doesn't catch the material. It keeps missing and missing and missing. So what happens is the first half of your bucket that's full, if it's small stuff, it falls right through. It's pretty quick. You'll sit here for 4 times the time now it took to do that first little pile, trying to catch the material. And you can shake the bucket, reverse them, go back and forth, and he'll sit here for, like I said, at least 4 times the amount of time try to get the end material that's stuck in there. So then what can you do? You can dump it back out, scoop it back up, and go through. But it seems like that it struggles to get material unless it has to hit perfectly inside of it to actually make it grab and put it through. So he's shaking right now. We'll take a look inside here. See there how it keeps missing, and then when it's lucky, it hits it all the time. It's spinning. And again, that's all that's left right now. So the concept works. The size of the material that comes out isn't bad, but it seems slow. It keeps missing and it's catching. So to get, for example, a dump truck full of material, it'll be here for quite a while, I think. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna take the Yanmar, so the 10-ton here. I already have the bucket full of asphalt, which is just ripped out asphalt, and I made sure. The problem that seems to be happening is as he's scooping up right now, of course he's running the bucket flat across the ground and he's grabbing a lot of these granulars that are down at the bottom of the pile here. So I want to make sure we get a pure bucket of essentially ripped out material only if we can. So we're not putting much sand and stuff through, because again, I think the stuff that came through here, you're seeing a lot of the sandy stuff, but it's because it's coming from the ground. It's not actually crushing that material. The stuff that gets crushed is this stuff here. So I'm gonna jump in the machine quickly, take this bucket, put it in there, and have him crush that. There's no granulars inside of that bucket. It's pretty much pure asphalt. So let's quickly do that here, feed the machine, and see how it spits the stuff out. Bucket's full now. As you can see, what we have in here is just, you know, regular size asphalt chunks, and there's not much granular in there whatsoever. So now let's bring this over to the pile. We're gonna stop the asphalt, go to bricks. I think it does work better with the bricks. I think it prefers the consistency size of those pieces. So we'll stop this. We're gonna switch over to the interlock and then run some of that through and show you what that looks like next. So Caden's jumping in there. We have the interlocks are loaded in here now. So let's see how these fare out here. Alright guys, so something I wanted to show you here before we end this video off is, as you can see, I understand this is because of the material we were using, but see here the material that's all cut up on the front of the edge and on the side, it's all hung up there. It is because it's interlocking stone, that's why it's actually caught within its own grooves. But this happens with the interlock and with the asphalt, it kind of just gets caught and stays on top of that oscillation. So I really appreciate demoing this SIMEX SB 12,000, or sorry, 1200 rather. It's a cool machine. It matches our machine obviously very nicely. It's something that for sure I see value in the business of crushing your own material, whether it's leftover asphalt or interlock or concrete. Is there value there as a business? 100%. I don't want to share with you the price that we can buy this unit for, because that price could be different from us than someone else. So to share with you numbers, I think doesn't make sense. If you want to know what a number is on this machine, I'd say contact your local dealer or supplier and, you know, ask for a quote. But when we first we're looking into this machine from the idea of crushing stuff ourselves. There wasn't much content on the internet that gave an honest review about how it worked, except for stuff from the manufacturer, which I think some of the times that were displayed there, I don't want to say they're misleading, but I don't really think they were accurate myself from the tests that we personally did. Because again, something like this has to make sense, where what you pay for the unit, have an operator inside of it, you're burning fuel, the amount of production you need out of the machine has to make sense. I mean, I can only imagine how long it would take. These piles here are all from different demonstrations, but to actually fill up a dump truck, scooping up that material, or interlock stone or concrete, how long would that take to actually fill up a truck? I think personally, way too much time. The consistency of the material too, it's not bad, but considering the time, it's not really worth what you get as a byproduct, really. And again, the time it takes is just, there's just no way it's efficient. So that's just a review for you guys. Again, appreciate the opportunity to use the SIMEX SB 1200, but it is not the machine for us. If you guys know there's a better machine out there for us, or for what I'm trying to accomplish here, please let me know in the comments below, because we'd love to know what it is, test it out, try it out, and if it makes our company more efficient, then we want to try it, guys. So anyways, thanks for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.